concert movement number 1. The basic head bob. Ready, go.
All right, Bradshaw with you here on an absolutely gorgeous Thursday afternoon in the capital city. Something's missing. This is like one of those pictures. Like they take a famous picture and they make like one or two simple changes, and then it's like, can you guess what the change is?
Rock concert movement number 2.
If I didn't already know what the change is, I don't know that I would
Mary
notice
Carey
right away.
wearing a digital watch.
I'm not wearing a watch.
That was one of Sheldon Cooper's brain teasers.
Who's Sheldon Cooper?
You're dead to me.
Okay.
All right, 131 Bradshaw with you here. Like I said, absolutely gorgeous day. Hopefully you get out and see some of it because it's getting cold again.
Is it supposed to be cold again?
Like, yeah, beginning of next week, Sunday, it's supposed to get back into the frigid.
Awesome, because I was just thinking it's way too warm, and I hate warm
too
weather.
Nice
yeah.
out. And I hate that. All the snow's melted. Awful, awful, I tell you. That, I don't know, there's just something, when it gets to like a certain temperature, like you just can't get warm, like no matter what. You can turn on the fireplace, crank up the heat, put yourself under the hot water like you're thawing a cheap steak or something. Never do that with good meat. Seriously, bad times. So yeah, get out and enjoy it. Phone number is 244-0077. Who's on line 1? There's already someone.
You know who's on line 1.
Really?
I haven't. He may want to talk to me yet. I was on the phone.
Talk to him. You talk.
He calls me now and will just chat with me during your show. And then I'll be like, "Do you want on with Bradshaw?" He's like, "Heck no."
It's like crabs. You just pass. Actually, true story. Thanks to a handful of Brazilian women, we are close. We're getting closer to wiping that out.
Oh yeah.
Because that's the thing. What's the family-friendly way of? Because
there's no
because women prefer a hardwood floor.
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand what you're saying.
Nothing to.
I do own a beauty salon. I'm familiar with what the Brazilian wax is.
Yeah, there you go. Do you do the bleaching?
I don't think we do here, but we have in the past. In our new salon, we don't do any of the up close.
Bits.
Yeah, because we don't really have a room set up for it. We used to have a salon and day spa where I had.
You can't get cameras in there. I mean,
no, I've never.
Wait, what do you mean by set up?
We don't have segregated rooms in our salon, so there would be nowhere.
That's very progressive of you.
Yeah, they would not be able to lay
move
down.
Down south, you can still find those.
Yeah, you would lay down and be exposed to everybody, and that's just not really how most people would like to get that.
I could introduce you to some people.
You know what? Those people are more than welcome in my salon, but I would prefer if they keep their clothes
that
on.
To themselves.
Yeah,
that's generally.
I did, however, in my old salon and day spa, totally walk in on somebody getting that done. It was like an old lady, and it was weird, and it was one of my least favorite clients. So imagine walking in on Frank getting his bikini wax. That's what it had been like. Except that I like Frank. I'm saying in your perspective.
Sailing away. I'm going to some other place. Calgon, take me away.
Now that I've ruined your day, I'm going to be quiet now.
Oh, man. I'm glad I did not have a large lunch. I just thought that was, it took, centuries to wipe out polio, and we still get whooping cough, but we may wipe out crabs in our time, which I guess will make every sorority house a safer place. Stereotypical, I know. Weird story. And I say this as someone who used to live in South Bend and cover Notre Dame. Notre Dame is all about mythology. The Gipper, where the real story of the guy who got drunk and passed out in a snowbank, it does get a little cold there, becomes the inspirational story is told by Ronald Reagan. Newt Rockney. This one, Manti Te'o and his fake dead girlfriend. Are you familiar with this story? I had not heard word one of this until yesterday. I guess one of the better college football players.
I did hear
On the
about that last
upstart.
night. Somebody was trying to tell me.
Yeah, I read about it last
like
night.
This guy's he claimed his grandma and
Well, his grandma did die.
and his girlfriend died in a car accident. He was playing the game for them or something like that.
Yeah.
It turns out he didn't have a dead girlfriend.
Well, he did. And it's like Schrodinger's girlfriend, because there's far more to this story.
I heard it was like a catfish situation.
Yeah, that.
That's
now,
all. I haven't researched it. Somebody was bringing it up, and I thought that sounds like.
And again, there's more, I'm sure, to this than we're learning, and I know it's very unlike a Catholic institution to take negative news and cover it up for a time until they can't contain it anymore.
It has never happened.
It's very unprecedented.
Never.
In large, powerful Catholic institutions. That's just not the way they roll. But I guess this guy started, and I don't know why everyone's. He's a Mormon from Hawaii. I don't know what that has to do with it, but every story.
Well, because Mormons want to be defined. I would think the Mormon Church would be
he's not white and delightsome. I don't understand the appeal for minorities in the.
The minorities in Mormonism.
I don't.
Yeah, you would think you would look
not,
you would look like 40 years back and go, oh, they hated me. Okay.
Yeah, that's not a Manti Teo. That's just an overall thing. But I guess someone messaged him on Twitter back in 2009, and they started conversing. Sometime early this year, they became a couple. And from what I'm gathering here, this was someone leading him on. Like the photos of herself she would send to this guy were always just altered enough so that you couldn't do like a Google image search for them. But I guess they were of a 22-year-old California woman who's like, what the hell? Has no connection other than her pictures were appropriated for this. And I guess and I don't know whether this was an attempt to get like money out of him or just someone messing with his head because they could get away with it. Maybe this is just, world-class trolling. But I guess, when things started to get a little too deep, their solution to pull out of this was to kill this character off. And I guess, since the whole just fall down an empty elevator shaft was already done by LA law, they had to find something a little more creative. So at first, she had a car accident of some sort and nearly died. And then came back from that with leukemia, and finally, they kicked off the character sometime in September, and then it became, I'm going to play, for her and my grandma, who I actually, met. And it's weird. It's weird to hear people discuss what is the definition of meet. Like if I talk to you on Facebook, have we met?
No, I would say me and you have met, even though we're not Facebook friends. But I would not say that a Facebook meeting is the same.
Well, I think that's where there's some confusion, because there's really kind of two definitions.
Well, and if you met like over video chat, that's not really meeting, but...
Well, apparently they never did that because the pictures weren't of this person.
I don't
understand otter, this. We don't know.
In today's age, if you can chat over the internet, it is like $20 away from having a video chat. I mean, that's what a video chat camera costs.
Because I know,
if your laptop doesn't already have it.
People meet on the internet these days. It's
normal.
$1 billion business.
Well, I've got a lot of
just judging by the number of Christian mingle ads I see out there,
which are so weird.
That is, even as a non-believer, I gotta go. That's kind of, if I were of that belief persuasion, I would find that kind of insulting. Come to our website to find God's match for you.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, they mix some theology in that, because like, oh, God's got a match for you. You can't find it unless we point it out for you.
But for $12 a month, it's funny how so many theological related interests involve money.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Jesus is well known to walk around with one of those card readers, so he could just swipe a credit or debit
I bet
card.
he probably had the Square because he seemed like an Apple guy to me.
I could see Jesus using an iPhone. Be like, okay, water or wine, that'll be $37.50. It's like an airport, it's a special limited edition.
Well, the nice thing about the bottled water he would sell is if you wanted wine, all you'd have to do is ask, same price.
Yeah, it's interchangeable, and he would take care of that. That's just customer service.
Yeah, no,
Very underlooked these days.
I think it's offensive. First of all, I think that the other dating sites that have worked with the personality test and stuff like that, they have a place for your religious views. So if that's
who was it? Who's the one that has the founder on?
Oh, is that eHarmony?
Neil, yeah. Turns out that's pretty much all they do is to find our perfect match, is match people up by their religion. Because what would happen is people without religious beliefs would get rejected by the site.
Huh.
Well,
I know,
stick your Presbyterians with your Presbyterians and the Southern Baptists with the Southern Baptists and everything.
Which makes sense.
Work itself. Well, they pass that off as some sort of high-minded, behavioral science.
Yeah, they definitely, I guess I always thought they had some kind of 100-point personality.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it would just match you up based on...
Which kind of cracks me up because I see all kinds of couples that are successful with wildly different personalities. For instance, your girlfriend has to be sadomasochist to deal with you.
No, not really. But
it was just...
I'm Chris Humphries and Kim Kardashian. Or Britney Spears. And who was that guy she married for 72 hours?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Or as it turns out, Janine Garofalo has been married for 20 years and didn't even know it. I know. I have to rethink every time I watch the MTV half-hour comedy hour now. I was a married woman. She got drunk in Vegas, got married, and forgot about it. These things happen.
Who?
Janine Garofalo.
Not normal people.
No, not normal people. But yeah, it's just a weird story. I guess even after he told the school, because this became big news, people were donating money to leukemia research. It became, I guess, during the national championship game, they were showing her picture. Which, if you're that actual gal, that has to be really confusing. Like, is this heaven? Am I dead?
Who is this? It's my doppelganger wearing my clothes.
This is a national broadcast. Someone who knows this person had to see those pictures and go, Denise, just so you know that you're some guy's dead internet girlfriend. Just thought you should know. Call me back. Laters. No, the whole thing is just absurd. And there are people, who immediately look to the awfulness. And generally when Notre Dame is involved, that is the correct response. No, and also the people of South Bend hate Notre Dame.
I hate Notre Dame, but that's
well,
because I'm an
a lot
Iowa
of people
fan.
hate Notre Dame, but not for athletic purposes because the school is.
I don't even like their stupid movie, Rudy.
No, although I've been to that bar. Does that count? That was one of the first.
I don't know. Going to the bar
that's one of the main tourist attractions. Like when we went out there to interview, you got to go check out. I think it's called Corby's Bar or something. Corky's, I don't know, something like that. You gotta go check it out. Yeah, it's the Rudy Bar. That's their closer. That they didn't even have coffee, which struck me as odd. It's for
I've only watched that movie 3/4 of the way through. It was pretty stupid.
Yeah, but apparently people are accusing now of the school and this guy being complicit and helping to push his Heisman chances. From the sound, this guy got catfished. That's if you haven't seen the movie Catfish. Spoilers. A guy travels across the country to meet, his dream woman he met online. It's like I've never seen the movie, but it's like a total bait and switch when the dude gets there.
Well, that guy's got an MTV show now called Catfish.
Where they do it.
And it is the most entertaining half hour of television ever.
Better than Steve-O's Extreme Karaoke?
There was a dude, the last one I watched was a guy that had a legitimate modeling career. So he's kind of one of those guys me and you only can pretend to be, right?
You've never seen me in a pair of tidy whities.
Oh, yeah, but he's the guy when we look in the mirror, we imagine we are. And so he's dating some chick that's also pretty good looking. She's not crazy good looking, but she's pretty good looking. Turns out it's a like 22-year-old black chubby guy.
Word.
Yeah. It was pretty amazing. Like, it was
Expand your
just
mind.
funny.
I mean, if that's what you're into. But no, everything I read says this guy, got completely played. Apparently, he's very, introverted, kind of socially awkward. If I might digress for a minute, that kind of seems kind of the SOP for Mormon youths, but neither here nor there. And I think got taken advantage of by someone online. Just weird story. You would think, though, at some point, right? He's a college athlete, so he's probably getting paid more than you and I combined.
Sure. At least he's got nicer cars.
Yeah, go, get a plane ticket and go out and, meet them. I don't know, crazy, right?
I don't get it.
The whole thing.
Plus, he's a college athlete that's reasonably famous. I'm assuming he's in good shape and probably has some chicks at Notre Dame that would be
Could
interested.
pull more wool than a shepherd,
Yeah.
I think is what you're...
Yeah, I would...
Although, again, having lived in South Bend, the odds are good. The goods are odd.
But, when you're in that age, I don't know that all matters that much.
Well, he can't drink because he's Mormon. But I guess he's just kind of a socially awkward, introverted...
Apparently, if
dude.
he's a almost a Heisman Trophy winner and is still dating somebody on the internet he's never seen.
Yeah, there's obviously some issues.
And how
there.
long were they dating?
They've been conversing for 3 years.
If
And
you
we're
haven't met your
dating.
girlfriend in 3 years, she
Yeah.
is not your girlfriend.
Yeah,
Or
and-
probably real.
Because normally, this goes the exact opposite way. My girlfriend in Canada, you've never met her. We met at Niagara Falls. She totally loved me, supermodel hot. And then they
Sure.
showed a picture of Allison Hannigan from 1999 or something. Yeah, that's totally her. That's been, again, as someone who enjoys science fiction movies and comic book movies. Now, I am familiar with this concept. But to have it kind of turned around like that, I do, at least some good has come out of it. Notre Dame loves to pimp their, play like a champion today gear. You can already buy online, play like your fake girlfriend died today with a little clover leaf, which I appreciate, again, as someone who doesn't particularly care for Notre Dame. And then the flip side to that is the folks at Deadspin. It's a website that up until recently was pretty much devoted to giving ESPN hell. It's kind of shady athlete stories and Matt Leinart in a hot tub, and which I think is a very necessary service in today's society, considering sports is the toy aisle of life. Right? It's where we go to escape reality, unless you're a Cub fan, which crippling depression just comes with part of the fandom. They throw that in free. You got to pay for everything else. Because, I don't know, job stress, world strain, that kind of thing. People take sports way too seriously. It's good that the folks at Deadspin are here to poke it with a short stick from time to time. And they caught this story that, Sports Illustrated and pretty much every mainstream sports content provider just bought hook, line, and sinker, never looked into. And I think it was just a simple LexisNexis search. Like, okay, this gal died or, had a serious car accident in September. All right, well, let's look, in the Palo Alto area. Were there any serious car accidents? They didn't find this person. And they dig and find out the whole thing. It's fake. And when they confront Notre Dame, turns out they've known about it now for, a month or so? And didn't say anything because, again, it's very unlike Catholic institutions to ever cover up bad news and horrible things. But I feel bad for the guy. I don't think this was... I've seen some pretty cheesy attempts to garner Heisman attention.
Well,
I don't know if you would subject yourself. Well, apparently he found out in December.
And he hasn't said anything? I guess December's not that long. you probably have to plan how this is going to come out and not make you the laughingstock of
Well,
the
I
entire
think
country.
that's it. I think once you learn you got played, the last thing you want to do is come out and tell everyone.
Yeah, that's just rough. The good news is that the causes people donated to were good causes, and hopefully they don't regret
I guess
that.
they weren't, like trying to pay off a credit card bill or something like that, or
Yeah.
this is actually going to leukemia research.
It wasn't his Kickstarter account that.
But if you're this guy, and I think this is where you get some unwanted and undeserved scorn, because if you're a 21, 22-year-old, college football player, I think he's 22. And this happens to you, are you going to want to tell anyone? Are you going to by the way, just so you guys know, I got completely duped and played by what is probably a middle-aged, person on the internet. Probably not something you're going to put out there.
Well, with that catfish show, this last one I watched, I went, this guy is never going to live this down. Because I can just imagine my high school buddies and early college-age buddies, and that happening to me, and just thinking about the fallout from that, and then the fact that it happened on MTV, and you're going to be famous.
And they're going to replay that clip over and over.
Oh,
pretty much, yeah. Your life is going to be confined to mall appearances with various teen mom cast members.
Anytime
that aren't in
MTV
jail.
wants to do a show about you, the answer is no.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, just no.
Now, if you come to if you're like Johnny Knoxville and you come to show them with a show, that's fine. If you're downtown Julie Brown, all right, you can wubba all you want. If you're the other Julie Brown, it's not going to work out. So remember, there were two Julie Browns.
I only remember the downtown Julie Brown.
There was the redheaded one from Earth Girls Are Easy.
I think I know who you're talking about. Okay,
yeah. Who, you know what, just does it for me, and I'm not afraid to say that. What, the other Julie Brown? I was like, wow.
Okay.
If you're Eric Nice and they come to you and say, we want you to just take your shirt off and stand on this, and dance for a half hour. Yeah, you know what? That's probably a decent career move. Kelly Ripa turned that job basically into, well, I used to work with Regis for a living. So, it's not like you can't make something. Especially if you are the quiz master of 72 Whooping Cough Lane. Please tell me you got that reference.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
Oh, Ken Ober, when MTV comes to you with it. But yeah, if they want to we just want to follow you around with cameras, what could go wrong? You're going to find out. And it's going to be...
Yeah, and I even got a feeling that if it didn't go wrong enough, they would find ways to make it look like it went really wrong.
Even wronger. All right, 244-0077. Email radiobradshaw@gmail.com. And follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw. And only because, in deference to Manti Te'o's dead fake internet girlfriend, we're going to go to Frank. Only because people have accused me of making you up. That you were a plant or a stooge or an employee. Frank, tell them that I would never give you money for anything.
I don't know. You put him on the line there.
Which button does it? There. Is that Frank? Okay.
Okay.
All right. We've never met.
No.
You do this of your own volition and your own questionable mental health.
Yeah. Hey, Dan.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you won't remember this because this was in one of Bradshaw's former professions.
I'm just going to hang out over here. You two.
Bradshaw actually proposed to me twice.
Check the weather for it.
So I'm surprised he didn't volunteer for a mutual waxing.
You proposed to this guy twice?
Well, yeah, he was going on about...
Bradshaw, I think you've been catfished.
We've never met, though.
Right now.
Yeah, Frank sounds like a middle-aged man, but he's really probably like Miss America.
Probably dresses like Miss America and is... I'm thinking,
that's horrible.
I'm imagining Steve Buscemi and Billy Madison type of stuff going on here.
That's,
do you have a to kill list, Frank?
No.
No? What's your favorite lipstick color?
Red, I suppose.
Would you build a suit out of human skin? Do you have a pit
Probably
in
not.
your...
Probably not. That's usually generally Frank, and I'm going to defend Bradshaw. That's a no.
That's a definitive.
Yeah, no.
I've thought about it, but I just don't have the stones to go through. I've got the lotion. I've got the basket. I'm all ready. I just, need to take that last step.
See what you subject yourself to,
the
Frank?
Pandora box you open.
Yeah, I'm just saying you're the one that
All
called,
right, hey,
Frank.
you know what? If tucking makes you happy, go with it.
Yeah.
What are you
All right, I'm
calling
off.
about,
You
Frank?
guys chat.
I wanted to possibly see if we could engage in a conversation about executive orders today.
All right, what specifically do you disagree with what the president proposed yesterday?
Well, somebody that I listen to on cable news, who I highly respect,
Nancy Grace?
no, basically said that it's
Or what? Esteban, the guitar master from Home Shopping
I'll
Network.
tell you who. I'm not afraid to tell you who I admire. I admire Charles Krauthammer.
All right.
Basically said that it's a whole lot about nothing. And listening to his explanation, I kind of agree. But here's the point. What happens if this doesn't stop the violence and the next round of school shootings? What's the next round of executive orders going to look like? They're going to have a little longer and a little sharper teeth, aren't they?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so now you're happy. You're content with these executive orders.
As I said yesterday, the devil is in the details.
Okay, what happens if, for instance, Obama takes aim at some other amendments? Maybe the first? How about the fourth? Maybe the fifth? How about your precious 14th Amendment? How about the 16th Amendment? What if he starts taking aim at other amendments?
All of those amendments are under fire. And you know what, Frank? Here's the thing, people. They will always be. Whether we're, interning Japanese citizens or Irish need not apply. Republicans have been fighting against the 14th Amendment ever since we gave up the Southern racists and they adopted them in the 1960s.
Did you know he was voting for a dictator on November the 6th?
Okay. What do you believe President Obama is doing that is dictatorial?
Well, when the president can stand up without going through the people's house and then getting floated over to the Senate, which is supposed to be the tea saucer to cool things off, without being overlooked by the Supreme Court.
Are you saying that a president doesn't have executive order authority?
Well, when you start wielding it at unprecedented levels.
But what do you believe the president has done that is unprecedented?
Well, the DREAM Act, for example.
All right, but he didn't institute the DREAM Act.
No, but some form of the DREAM Act he bypassed. He's put in his czars with no resistance.
Now, czars come from the Reagan administration. Was Reagan a dictator?
I'm not saying that other presidents hasn't used this power, but when you learn something...
What does a czar do? You don't know.
That's a good question.
I know. You're just Frank. You're just regurgitating what other people have filled your head, and you need the details.
No,
you need yes. You need information. If you believe that middle of the road, gun legislation is dictatorship, you've lost perspective.
The Congress is supposed to oversee presidential appointments.
Yeah. Does that mean bring them to a halt?
We're appointing people during recess. We have recess appointments.
Mm-hmm.
We have all kinds of things. And when you learn something, you don't unlearn it. So...
That's not what Yoda tells us.
So as president starts grabbing more and more power, do you think he's going to all of a sudden one day stop grabbing power, or do you think it's going to continue to be more of a power grab?
By the way, I'm absolutely with you with unitary executive. I don't believe, certainly the executive branch and the White House, and this has been a 30-year process, has been taking authority. I'd even go, you know what, you could probably go back even to Nixon. And while that was certainly executive run mock.
I told you a day or two after the election when I spoke to you.
But again, these were the same complaints. You seen Lincoln?
No, I haven't.
You should go see it because many of these same complaints were made about him.
Yes, I know. Lincoln got pretty tough suspending habeas corpus, and he done some things that when reporters was reporting things that he didn't like, he shut it down.
But here's the point. These rights, the Bill of Rights, the various amendments to the Constitution itself, is always going to be poked and prodded. Because you never know what you're going to find under the rug. And some of the things you like, some of the things you're not going to like. Some of us are going to disagree. When we look in the Constitution and find a woman's right to vote, All right, something that was not originally enshrined in there. That came out of the pushing and the poking and the
today,
prodding.
for example, if George Bush had executed 23 orders to restrict a woman's right to choose? Or how about 23 orders restricting gay marriage?
We have that. The state of Mississippi, through heaping legislation on regulation on top of regulation, something Republicans say they're opposed to. In Mississippi, they're about to close their last women's health clinic that provides abortions. That's happening right now, Frank. Didn't take an executive order. You're losing perspective. You're being told to focus.
Some people think this stuff ought to be
Obama.
in the states' rights arena anyway. I'm talking about the federal.
Many Confederates do.
The federal government and the leader of the federal government, the President of the United States. What would you say if next week Obama decided he wants to have an executive order ushering in a church state for the United States?
Well, I think that would be blatantly unconstitutional.
And a curtailing the rights of atheists to assemble, to freely assemble. How would you like that one?
That would be blatantly unconstitutional.
Okay.
What specifically do you believe
Are you on board
Stop.
now?
No. What specifically do you believe the president has done that is unconstitutional?
Well, for the first thing, the Second Amendment, there's no restrictions.
Yes,
Do you
there
know
are.
What part of no restrictions?
Then how come people under the age of 18 can't buy guns?
Because we are slipped in restrictions when nobody seems to be looking or nobody
So
cares.
you believe Wild
Where is
West?
the exceptions in the Second Amendment for mental health and convicted felons? Where are those exceptions?
They're right.
Where is the
they're
waiting
right
period?
there.
Where is the background checks? Where's the cop killer bullet
Frank,
exceptions?
they're right next to yelling fire in a crowded movie theater.
Yeah, right.
That they are. That's exactly.
The Constitution is not a living, breathing document.
Okay, so Frank, do you believe that free speech has no restrictions whatsoever?
Technically speaking, there should be no restrictions on free speech.
So if you want to threaten the president, that's cool. You want to do it publicly, out in the open, maybe on a megaphone downtown?
Well,
if you want to yell
you wanna
fire,
go
hold
down-
on. If
do
you
you
want to
wanna-
yell fire in a crowded
do
movie
you wanna
theater,
go down the
hey,
road?
hold on. No. We're talking specifics here, not random here. Do you believe that you should be able to yell fire in a crowded movie theater to cause a panic?
Here's the problem.
Yes or no, Frank?
Let me answer the question.
All right.
The way I can answer it. Here's the problem.
Poorly?
When you have a situation just a minute. I collect my thoughts here.
All right. Well, you go find a bucket and get back to us. All right. 244-0077. Email address, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Look.
You know he's just going to call back in, right?
Maybe. But someone else can deal with him. But I love that, what part of shall not be, confuses you? It's right next to the part of well-regulated militia. This is the point.
Well, but
these rights mean, yes, does evolve.
I think you're right there. We've already set regulations. Some of them I think are good. Some of them I think are bad. I think he makes a valid point that they were intending to protect the people when it says the right of the people shall not be infringed.
But what are they?
Because
what
that
does well-regulated militia mean? Because we
But
saw
if we
the
were
founding-
specifically only talking about the well-regulated militia there, they would have said the right of a well-regulated militia shall not be infringed.
But we saw what the founding fathers actually did. I asked you yesterday about the Whiskey Rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
All right, when a bunch of Appalachian Hill folks decided to get all uppity, what did George Washington do? He led a well-regulated militia to go put that insurgency down.
Sure.
All right, that's what they actually did. That's not a matter of
I understand, but just because something happened in history doesn't make it good.
Well, if we're going off the intentions of the founding fathers, they made theirs very clear what to do about insurrection.
And I understand that. I'm just saying that I think it's pretty clear when they say the right of the people that they've referred back to the people. They've left the well-regulated militia part and they're back to the right of the people. Now, that being said, like you said, you can't go threaten the president. I don't.
We've always
I think it's an okay distinction to say that there are certain age limits that before you own a gun.
I think we've always these rights are not 100% absolute.
Yeah,
You do not have a right to
agree with you there.
libel someone or slander them.
You mean we can't blood libel people?
Easy, Sarah Palin.
Come on. I
So-
want to make some people blood liable.
There are restrictions, the same way you are allowed to put restrictions. Say again, I don't believe someone necessarily needs a fully armed Black Hawk helicopter for home defense. We have
I
restrictions.
can't afford one because if I could, I would own it. It'd be sweet.
Well, actually, no, you wouldn't because you can't have them.
Actually, you can have decommissioned helicopters. They wouldn't have the weapons, but you could still have the. It'd be sweet.
Look, I'd love to have Blue Thunder. It looked like a lot of fun, and you can do.
What's your ride? The Blackhawk over there. You know, like it doesn't matter what car somebody else pulls into. You just came in a Blackhawk.
But yet we put restrictions on
Sure.
these rights because, and this is the crucible. This is the test. Does the public good outweigh? You know, if you're going to infringe on a private right, you have to overwhelmingly prove that it, you know, is for the public good.
Well, and that's
we all agree it's probably good that 12-year-olds can't go buy Uzis.
yeah. No, I think it's probably the right thing.
I'm sure there are some NRA folks.
I would say I'm sure there's some gun guys that say no age, no how, but I don't think that's reasonable.
You know, the criminally insane shouldn't be out buying an arsenal of freedom.
I also think that we look at a culture that used to police itself a lot more, and that's no longer the case and no longer necessary by the evolution of a culture. So some of this stuff, you know, like, hey, an 18-year-old can't have a gun, or a 17-year-old can't have a gun, an 18-year-old can, makes a lot of sense because back in the day, a father would have been a lot more involved in the decision-making process of his 16-year-old son.
Well, you know, we don't live in Dodge City. We don't live in Tombstone. I mean, Deadwood was a fun place to watch on HBO, but I wouldn't want to hang out there. We've moved past that.
Well, I would like to have cool lines like "I'm your Huckleberry" and Johnny Ringo, we have a game for blood. I mean, those are just cool lines. So
Al Swearingen seems, at least in fiction, the real one was kind of a son of a bitch, but he was an Iowan.
Yeah. Well, I just think Doc Hollywood, done by Val Kilmer, is the best.
Doc Hollywood was done by Michael.
Yeah,
J.
sorry,
Fox,
Doc Holliday. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm tired.
That one seemed bad.
But Doc Holliday was amazing.
No, Val Kilmer was.
It's his best role. Anything else after that kind of sucked.
No, Chris Knight was Val Kilmer's best role.
Chris Knight. Which role was that? Am I dead to you again?
You've never seen Real Genius?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I just don't remember.
Smart People on Ice!
Yeah, I don't remember the names of a movie character all that well unless I really like the movie. So that was a good one.
Why are you wearing that on your head?
I don't know.
Never mind. All right. We'll get into...
I liked the slide thing in the locker. You know, you went down like the roller coaster into the Genius slab. That was pretty sweet.
No, that's when they had the student beauticians come over for a party.
That was pretty awesome.
That was pretty awesome. Although, you know what? Again, Jordan was...
Well, I like that they randomly had a swimming pool that, you know, you could throw parties at during that movie.
They were smart people. They figured these sort of things out. That's how else do you fill a house with popcorn?
I have never found a smart person that was really all that successful at throwing large parties because they're too busy doing smart things.
They're not that smart.
Yeah.
They're not as smart as Chris Knight. All right. Going to take a break. When we come back, more gun talk. And this actually comes, I think, roundabout way from the GOP to the GOP. Maybe the best piece of advice I have ever heard for Republicans. And that's coming up next here on The Bradshaw Show on Webcast One Live. Thanks for watching. Back right after this.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershide.
I'm administrative manager
I'm the senior technician.
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's your home.
it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're going to do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's going to be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're going to do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed rider it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you going to say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're going to be listening. They're going to want to know what your challenges are. Then they're going to come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though, I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm going to take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed rider, it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
Drink, dance, party. Kitty's is the ultimate dance club in Des Moines. A huge dance floor with room to move, 3 bars to keep your drinks full, and kickin' DJs playing all your favorite dance music. At Kitty's, we've always got your birthday party planned with Birthday Fridays. That's right, when your birthday rolls around, there's only one place to go. Gather up your friends and head to Kitty's, where you drink free on the Friday of your birthday week. Find out more about Birthday Fridays at kittiesusa.com. Kitty's, all kinds of people, all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
Rock concert movement number 1. The basic head bob. Ready, go.
All right, 2:14. All's well. Thursday afternoon in the capital city. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Radio Bradshaw. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. What I wouldn't give. The House Republicans are holding their retreat today. Now, it has nothing to do with running away from the fiscal cliff. This is the confab, closed to reporters. Among the breakout sessions, hosted by Rachel Campos Duffy from MTV's The Real World, who married Rachel. I think she was in the San Francisco season. She married Sean, who I believe was from Boston season. He was the lumberjacking guy, who is now a Republican congressman from Wisconsin.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with saying that's scary.
He also, this is the same Sean Duffy, who complained about how hard it was to get by on a House member salary, approximately $174,000 a year.
Well, you do realize he's probably used to the MTV salaries, which are pretty lucrative for the real world people afterwards because they get paid $10,000 a night to show up at a nightclub and get drunk.
Hang out with Piggy, do some real world road rules challenges, and, it's a good supplemental income.
I know nightclub owners, and they charge them anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 a night to come to your club and be there.
Come party with Puck.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, I would party with Puck.
With Tupac?
No, Puck.
I don't. Oh, Puck. Oh, yeah. I'm not. I've watched a bunch of the seasons. When I was a lot younger, but I've lost track over the last 12 years.
Yeah.
He's a long time ago. He's old.
Yeah,
he's
I'm old school. Julie, Eric Neese from the first.
Yeah. So you remember more about these people
Well,
than me.
no, I thought it was the Real World was a very good idea about taking. Again, this is a kind of a pre-widespread. This was before 700 channels on TV, before widespread internet. The world was much more, I think, spread out.
Sure.
20 years ago, so you could take the young girl from Alabama who's led a very sheltered life, and the member of Boogie Down Productions, along with the various.
Who was Boogie Down? What's Boogie Down?
That was Heather. Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One.
Oh.
I'll explain later, honky.
But
they took all these people and put them together, and they really did. It was a clash of cultures. I thought that was really cool. As someone who grew up in Des Moines, Iowa, it was a very insulated community. It was it was eye opening, and then they figured out that more people would watch if they just showed drunk, scantily clad people hooking up in the hot tub they put in the living room.
Yeah, and so the people got naturally a lot better looking. Like the first couple seasons.
I'm sorry, but you're not going to get better looking than I think it was Becky from the first season.
But the first season they kind of had a gaunt. Like there were some people that you're like, oh, these are real people.
Yeah.
Now you're like, nobody looks like that.
No, they're all mega hot with drinking problems and passing along STDs in the communal hot tub.
Which is why I think Jersey Shore took off, because Jersey Shore had some. You're like, that chick's pretty rough. Let's see what she does.
Yeah, I mean, for example, here's an artist rendition of Snooki. Sorry. But no, the Republican retreat today. Successful communication with minorities and women. Two groups that really don't like Republicans. Among that, Representative Frank Wolf, Representative Scott Rigel, Representative Adam Kinsler, who we neither female or minorities, but they did find one Republican congresswoman to sit on this panel. So that'll be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see. It's probably a good idea that this is closed to the press. But real quick before we go, something interesting, and this is from Rince Priebus, which is not actually a sexually transmitted disease, but the chairman of the RNC, and talking about the primary process heading into 2016. And he wants fewer debates, shall we say, friendlier moderators. Because when you say something, blatantly untrue, and the moderator says that, that can be damning to your chances in a debate. Much easier to find someone who's more than happy to read, Senator Santorum, Ronald Reagan, great president or greatest president? Please explain. If you're calling the shots, that's...
Well, I think the friendlier moderator makes sense on both sides. I don't know that I want the moderator's job to be we have fact checkers to check facts. We can go back and look.
Real, I'm fine
it disrupts the debate.
The debate should be, if someone is that over the top, the debate should be.
But we'll find that out. It's not like we're not going to find out. I understand.
Actually, no,
we do. There's just no way.
When you actually study what people take away, it is that instant analysis.
Well, but then it isn't.
Snap.
I don't think judgment. Then it's up to the moderator. Either way, whether we should take it away at that point or not, it's not up to the moderator to decide that. I think the moderator should ask the questions and be quiet. Period. And that's not a Republican Democrat thing. I wouldn't want my guy asking the questions. Is he a great president? Asking laced questions. I just don't want that.
I'm not asking for laced questions, but when someone lays out a whopper, like that.
I just
And
don't
then,
want.
you know,
I
goes
don't. I want
back
the
to it
moderator to
2
be
or 3 times.
Yeah, and that's fine. Let them look
Everyone-
like an idiot. If everybody's reaction is that's not
that's
true,
the problem,
then let them
is-
look like an idiot.
That's not. We wouldn't still have birthers and 9/11 truthers and
They look
Benghazi
like
conspiracy
they get
theorists.
made fun of from everybody from you to the talking heads of the Republican Party. I mean,
But that's the thing, they don't. Mitt Romney was not going to get made fun of by the Republican Party for what he said.
it was
at that debate.
it was
He
a
was wrong.
The joke about Obama and not knowing where he came from or whatever, is that what you're talking about? The one where he's like, "Well, they all know where I was born,"
No, that was a different.
because that was a funny joke.
That
I mean,
wasn't in a debate. That was a speech.
Yeah, I say that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm the white guy. No one asks me where I'm from. Ha ha ha. White privilege. Woo.
I don't know that it was white privilege, and I don't know that the
That
race
is
was
absolutely.
I think you're adding in
privilege.
race for the sake of adding in race because it makes it
that
particularly
is
evil. And I think he's saying nobody.
No, I don't- hold on.
They know he's born in America. Mitt Romney's been
I
around.
wanna
There
say
was no
this
questions.
very
Obama.
clearly. I don't think Mitt Romney is evil. I think he is.
I think Mitt Romney's evil. So we can just stop there with your lies and deceit. Okay, the guy's evil, but that's beside the point.
He's not. He's just unfortunately a politician with absolutely with even fewer backbones than the average member of the species.
Yeah, we'll go back to I think he's evil, but
anyway,
but
bigger point.
he was more established in America. Like people knew who Mitt Romney was.
He was more established than the president
than Obama was when.
let me help you reach.
Yeah, no. Then Obama was when he first got elected. We didn't really know who he was. He was a nice guy with a friendly smile and had some good points.
4 years into that, you really think though? That...
I don't think that's the same, but you got to understand that most of the guys that at one point held the birther thing with any kind of salt or weight, they've divorced that since then, and so now it's fun to kind of kick fun. I mean, it's just all it is. I don't think race was involved.
There was some poll showing 62% are open to the idea of birtherism too.
Yeah, but
to this day,
that's silly. I mean, there's people that are silly.
I agree. That's why we're talking about the Republican Party.
Yeah, well,
because if we didn't have silly people, I don't think this party, as it stands now, would exist. And I think Reince Priebus, not a.
I like the idea of being quiet. I think it's a good idea.
Not an economical car, but I think understands that yes, the more these people talk, the more generally voters don't like them. We saw this with Romney when he would, bomb a state with ad money. It would hurt.
Sure.
Numbers. Now, part of that is just a consequence of going negative, but it was so consistent from state to state throughout the primary process. The only thing you could walk away with is the more people learned about Mitt Romney, the less they liked him.
I would agree with that statement. I mean, I went in 2008 going, oh, this would be my guy, and 2012 I wouldn't vote for him for nothing. So, I mean, I think that's a true statement. The more you learn about Mitt Romney, the less likely you are to vote for him.
And the big thing is he wants fewer primary debates. And I am a fan of primaries as long as you keep your eye on the prize. You don't go, global thermonuclear war on someone in your own party. That doesn't mean you don't call them out, you don't challenge them, but you shouldn't be emptying their opponent's, entire opposition research file in their face and doing the work for them. But I think it says two things. One, Republicans expect another weak field. Because let's be honest, right now, and I know it's very, 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 very prehistoric early, Jurassic Park early. Somewhere Samuel L. Jackson is messing with Linux early. But I think you could fully expect a crowd of wannabes, never will be's, has-beens, and we saw this with Gingrich and Herman Cain, these glorified book tours that actually start to gain traction because of such a weak field. Newt Gingrich was not running to actually win the nomination. I mean, Newt Gingrich, for all his faults, Fidelity, is a smart guy and is smart enough to know that he will never be president of the United States, let alone the candidate for a particular party. So why not go on a glorified book tour that you could raise millions of dollars doing? That's what he did. Same thing with Herman Cain. And these guys start to take off in the polls because of a weak field. Nature abhors a vacuum, politics even more. These guys start talking, and it hurts the brand. there's not a lot you can do to keep a Richard Murdoch or a Todd Aiken, a Christine O'Donnell, or a Sharon Engel from being themselves. But you can limit the forums for them to expose themselves and inflict themselves on the rest of humanity. And I think there's something to this. I don't think this is just Reince Priebus making one, little Chautauqua speech to one group. I think, at least among the Republican establishment, you're going to see a lot more of this in the next 4 years. That's what I was saying. This may be the best advice Republicans have ever given to Republicans. And I don't say this as a concern troll. Some of them will be smart enough to take it. Yesterday, when we laid out the president's plan of action on guns, there was a lot of, nothing in there. Appoint an ATF director. Well, you got to do that anyway, so I'm not going to give you credit for that one. But there's some really good common sense and some very important aspects, like making sure that the NRA and Republicans can't make sure that gun research is not funded anywhere in this country. But yesterday, it was less about what the president had to say and more about the reaction to it. And typically, you're a member of the 101st Chairborne, your keyboard commando started, Hitler, tyranny, dictator, despot. The kind of wingnut wing of the Republican Party, somewhat less out there. Certainly, there's been a half dozen or so calls for impeachment by actual elected Republican officials in Washington. The guys like Steve King, never missing an opportunity to, blow it up. We talked about the president coming to take our guns, which exactly what in that proposal yesterday involved taking guns. But hey, if Steve King wants to pull things out of his backside, that's, I guess, his right. On the local level, Tom Shaw, he's a state representative from Lawrence, putting together the Firearms Protection Act, which would tell the federal government you're not going to come in here and confiscate Iowans' weapons and register them, a.k.a. nullification. Now, this is something, again, that Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, the Confederacy tried and failed very miserably with 150 years ago. I don't know why they're coming back with it again. I guess bad ideas never die. He says he plans to introduce a House bill to allow Iowans with weapon carry permits to bring firearms onto school grounds. Oh boy. We talked about this yesterday. I've never fired a gun or a rifle in my life, but I could go online and in just a few days get a concealed weapons permit thanks to Iowa law changes. I can take tests online right after I figure out which Twilight character are you. More talk from Republicans about bringing back the Stand Your Ground laws. And we'll get more into this tomorrow, but the folks at Time, in their section, Swampland, which I think is a very good place to discuss many of these issues. Amanda Ripley has a piece today about your brain in a shootout. What actually happens? And we'll get into the meat of it tomorrow, but spoiler alert. Trained police officers who constantly are training with their firearms, have to qualify with their firearms, typically hit their intended target. Pull gun, aim at bad guy, shoot at bad guy. Do you want to guess? They hit him 18% of the time. That's it. Last summer, or when police had to stop an armed man outside the Empire State Building and shot 9 bystanders, that was actually an above-average shooting performance from police officers who are trained and qualified. All right. This is what really happens. This isn't right-wing fantasy. This isn't Turner Diaries. This isn't Ron Paul message boards or Prison Planet. This is the real world, where, like it or not, your amygdala rules. So we'll talk about that and more tomorrow. But one thing, I think you're going to see more of this. Shut up. The Republicans are learning the best tool Democrats have in our arsenal right now, Republican talking. And I think it is telling which Republicans are talking right now, Steve King and crazy Confederates, and who's shutting up. This is just, another step in that Republican civil war. See who's really running this party. All right, I got to bounce. We'll reconvene tomorrow, 1:30 here on Webcast One Live. In the meantime, go to thebradshawshow.com. It's got show archives, email, contact, all that stuff. thebradshawshow.com, and we'll see you fine folks tomorrow here at 1:30 on Webcast One Live. Thanks for watching, and I will see you then.